Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever wondered if you could maybe add an inch or two to your height, even after you thought your growing days were over? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down some advice from our source material on how you might be able to do just that, all by focusing on your body's own natural processes. Okay, let's get right into it. So, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Is it actually possible to get taller once you stopped growing? I mean, most of us believe that our height is pretty much set in stone, but our source material for this explainer has a pretty different take. So let's dig into what it claims and see what the method is all about. Okay, so according to our source, the real key to all of this comes down to one thing: growth hormone. The whole idea here is that if your body produces more of this hormone, it can actually stimulate the ends of your bones to lengthen. And this stretching, well, that's what the source claims can lead to a real increase in your overall height. But hang on, if it's that simple, why don't we just keep on growing forever? Good question. So let's jump into our first section and take a look at what our source says are the main reasons why our height eventually just stalls. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This is a pretty bold claim from our source. As you can see, it's suggesting that, while, yeah, most of your height is determined by other factors, a whopping 30% is tied to things like your lifestyle and your posture. If that's true, that's a huge slice of the pie that's actually within our control. So let's start with that 10% slice, shall we? In this next section, we're going to focus on posture and how something as simple as the way you stand and sit could have a surprisingly big impact on your height. This slide really just lays it all out. You can see on the left, when you slump, you're literally compressing your spine. That doesn't just make you look shorter, the source claims it can actually hinder growth. But on the right, you see the flip side. By fixing your alignment, you could potentially add 1 to 2 inches to your height just by letting your spine stretch out to its full natural length. Okay, so how do you actually do that? Well, the source recommends 2 specific exercises that are designed to decompress your spine and whip your posture into shape over time. They're called the Cobra Stretch and the Wall Stand. First up is the Cobra Stretch. It's pretty simple. You lie on your stomach, and then you use your arms to gently push your chest up, getting a nice arch in your back. The source says you should repeat this about 10 to 15 times every morning and every evening to really help fight back against all the slouching we do during the day. The second exercise is the wall stand. Now, the key to this one is to keep your shoulders pinned against the wall the whole time while you slowly raise and lower your arms. According to the source, this really encourages your spine to straighten up and get into proper alignment. It's a simple but apparently very effective move. Okay, let's move on. Fixing your posture is one big piece of the puzzle. But your body can't build anything without the right materials, right? So this next section is all about giving your body the right fuel for growth. Our source material really narrows it down to 2 nutrients that it says are absolutely crucial for healthy bones and, you guessed it, increasing your height. Those 2 are vitamin D and protein. Without these, pretty much any other effort you make is going to fall flat. So where do you find this vitamin D? Well, the source points to some pretty basic stuff. Getting out in the gentle morning sun is a fantastic natural source. And when it comes to your food, things like white beans, spinach, and dairy are all flagged as great ways to get your fill. And then there's protein. The source is super clear on this one. If you're not getting enough protein, it can literally stop height growth right in its tracks. So to fuel up, it recommends foods like eggs, fish, and chicken. And hey, if you need an extra kick, whey protein is also mentioned as a solid option. So we've talked posture, we've talked diet, but according to our source, neither of those things will really matter much without this next crucial piece. So let's get into the incredible role that sleep apparently plays in our growth. Now, this number right here is the big takeaway. See, it's not just about getting 8 hours of sleep. The source really emphasizes that you need 4 to 5 hours of deep sleep every single night. And why is that? Because it's during that deep sleep cycle that your body finally releases that super important human growth hormone. So how do you get that deep sleep? Well, the advice is pretty straightforward. First, aim for 7 to 8 hours of total sleep. And this is a big one. Put away your phone and other screens before bed. That blue light can seriously mess with your sleep cycles. And finally, try to keep a consistent sleep schedule. It really helps your body's internal clock. Okay, so we have covered posture, nutrition, and sleep. Now, it's really important for us to note that the source material we're explaining here does end with a recommendation for a specific product. To make sure we're being totally faithful to the source, we're going to present this information exactly as it was provided, without any kind of endorsement. And again, just to be perfectly transparent about what we're explaining, the source material does explicitly recommend a particular supplement to go along with all the lifestyle tips we've just discussed. The product itself is called Kahane Era Height King. It's described as being made from natural Ayurvedic ingredients, herbs like Peopleman and the others you see listed here, which are believed to help support the body's natural growth processes. And the instructions for how to use it are pretty simple. You can either take 1 capsule a day with some warm milk, or if you go with the powder, you just mix 1 teaspoon into a glass of warm water. Now, this is a key point, the recommended duration. The source suggests taking this for a 3 to 4 month course, and it's for both men and women. They really stress that it should be used alongside all the other things we've talked about, the posture, the diet, and the sleep habits. So, to wrap it all up, the source material basically lays out a 4-point game plan. Number 1, you gotta actively work on correcting your posture. 2, fuel your body with plenty of vitamin D and protein. 3, make getting those 4 to 5 hours of deep sleep a top priority. And 4, stay active. The source specifically calls out daily running as a great activity. And that's pretty much the entire approach to increasing height as it's laid out in our source material. When you look at it, it really seems to come down to building a few consistent, healthy habits. So, we'll just leave you with this final question to think about. Which of these habits are you going to focus on building first?